And welcome back to another episode of the Acme's Funniest Person podcast. I'm your host, Bryan Miller, and we're here with another episode of the podcast about an amateur contest that's been going on and producing some of the best comedy talent in the whole dang country, almost 35 years now. And up next, my guest today, the winner of the contest in 2024, Aidan Thibault.
How are you doing?
Very, very good. Congratulations again on your win.
Thank you.
These many years later, or months later.
Yep.
This is the perfect example, by the way, of why I like to do the interview with the winner. We did a short one the night you won. I like to wait and do later because you've got a lot of time between now and then.
Yeah.
Now, some people, they do some comedy. Oh, I've been doing some sets. This is exactly the reason why I like to wait, because you have been doing a ton of comedy.
Yeah, been busy.
Most of your comedy career is since the contest, really.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been seeing you. You've opened for me at least twice in the last year, right? Maybe three times.
Three times,
yeah. So before we get into the details of the contest and looking back on it, how's comedy been going?
It's been good. It's been fun. Like, I'm doing gigs and, like, getting better. I think that's pretty important. So that's been fun.
Yeah. We actually had a funny moment in the green room at another club this weekend, which was, it's like the opposite of gossip. We were, I don't remember, you were coming in to do a guest spot, but we canceled the late show, and so I was trying to get everybody up, and then I was like, oh, we're not going to be able to get Aidan up. And then I made the joke of, he's young, he'll bounce back, he's and then people started talking about all the joke. Oh, he's got this joke I like, and everyone was talking all nice about you, and you opened the door and everyone got quiet like we'd been talking shit about you. It was like no one wanted to compliment your jokes when you were there, but it was like, I was just talking about that Israel-Palestine joke that's so funny, but let's
Yeah, don't tell him, but I think he's really funny.
yeah, no, totally. And you walked in and everyone locked up, and then I think I told him, I was like, we were saying nice things, sit down, we'll stop. But you've been working really hard, writing tons of new jokes.
Trying to, yeah.
Yeah, and good ones.
Yeah, thank you.
What is how do you think you've evolved since you won the contest, comedy wise?
You get a little bit more time now that I've been doing stuff. So, like, you get used to, like, a longer amount of time, so just a little bit more comfortable. And then, I don't know, I've just been writing bits a lot, just trying to get them out, trying new things. Like, I'm out at, like, all the mics, and, like, people know who I am a little bit, so, like, put me up, and that's been helpful.
It's so helpful when you start. You go to a lot of mics and you get up at like some of them.
Yeah.
But that's I kind of, it's easy to forget that period once you've been doing it for a long time, because I'm like, I go to mics and get up,
Yep.
But it's like, not when you start though. When you start, it's a lot of like, we'll see if we've got 3 minutes at the end of the show for you.
Yeah.
But you grind a lot and you do well. Like I said, you show up, you pretty much get on those mics.
I try to.
Yeah. And how do you think you're doing? How many sets do you do a week at this point, do you think? On average.
Around 5.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good number. And I think the other thing people forget when they're it's good to count sets and keep track of that stuff. But, like, it's like, well, yeah, but you're also doing, like, a lot of, like, 10 and 15-minute MC spots, too, which is obviously a lot more than 1 3-minute spot here.
Yeah, it does make a difference. I don't know, I like getting out because you do your set, and then afterwards you're like, I want to change something, so you write it, and then you're like, well, I want to try it tomorrow then.
Yeah. The immediacy of stand-up is, to me, one of the most fun parts of it. Is that, like, if you have a bad set or you try to joke and it's like, ooh, the middle part got a laugh, but the part I thought was going to get the big pop didn't, or whatever, you like, well, I can just do it again, maybe tonight, if not tonight, tomorrow. Like, you don't have to wait that long. And then you try the next day and you go, oh, maybe that fix worked or maybe it didn't, and you by the end of the week you can have something patched together.
Yeah, that's why we have enough mics where you can like get out and like you can work on a bit like each night and it can improve, and you can see that. Yeah,
and kind of quickly, whereas some I don't know about painting much. I'm sure as a painter, you probably have to look back at like 2 years ago to see the big change. It's not like you're like, oh man, my brush strokes have gotten so much better this week,
Yeah.
But especially at the beginning in stand-up when you're new, it's like the improvement is direct.
Oh yeah, I look back at a set like 6 months ago. I'm like, ooh, I said that to people.
Oh man, let me tell you, that part doesn't entirely change. The good news is, like, now when I look back at a set 5 years ago, maybe I go, you're never happy entirely. Now I'm at the point where I go, oh damn, I was already doing that joke back then and I'm still doing it. Oh man, it's like a different thing now. It's like the jokes are getting old.
It's good to know you're never happy with it, but
no, I don't think so. I think it's a balance,
Yeah.
I mean, if I look back at like old sets, I mean, oh my god, it would be horrible, cringy, painful for me to watch. But like, I always say, well, that's a good thing because that means you've gotten a lot better.
Yeah, it means you're improving. That's what you want.
I mean, you would hope that you would be, especially from my case, 18 years or whatever. Like, well, I would hope it would be better after 18 years.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
even after a year, I mean, all those little things at your stage, the stagecraft that you pick up of just like taking the. You even watch, if you ever watch old videos of not just yourself but anybody, like will walk up to the mic and you almost be like afraid to take it out or nervous where to put the stand, and then you watch somebody doing it for a year and they're just like, yeah, take mic stand, just all the.
You can tell the new comic that doesn't move the mic stand. They'll take the mic out
and just leave the stand in front. That one drives me crazy. Yeah, or they get all distracted with the wire. It's like, just leave it alone. It's fine.
Yep.
Don't play with it. You're not a cat. Stop playing with the wire. Yeah. What do you think you've kind of learned about stand up in the last year?
I've been learning hosting a lot. Like that's kind of like, so like when you start hosting first, and that's a learning curve right there.
Yes.
My first hosting weekend, I bombed. That was
Where was it?
It was at Laugh Camp.
Oh sure. And so why do you think you bombed your first week?
I was nervous and like I didn't know like the 3 claps thing.
Three claps is huge.
Yeah.
Explain it to people if they don't know. This is good advice.
So like you go up there and like to get people's attention, you like do like, hey, get up for like the headliner, the like make some noise. I usually go like, hey, make some noise, and I go give it up for your headliner, and then I do give it up for yourselves.
Sure.
And then that's usually like I'll do a couple rules, and then I'll just kind of get into jokes. It's like they don't want to wait. They're like, let's get into jokes, but you got to get their attention.
Totally. The 3 claps is Wild Bill Bauer, one of the original Minneapolis stand-ups. I was getting ready to host my first show, and he called me and he goes, have you ever hosted a show before, Brian? And I was like, well, no, Bill, gosh. And he goes, well, I'm gonna teach you a class. Step outside real quick. And he literally, in like 3 or 4 minutes, he's just like tells me all the things that I should do. And the first thing, gotta get him to clap 3 times. Doesn't matter what they clap for, gotta get him to clap 3 times.
Yeah.
And he literally gave me this crash course on hosting. It was crazy amount of valuable information that I still use. I mean, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing, just while we're talking, one thing you might think about, that one thing that I found that really helped me, I move the rule stuff to the end of my set.
Oh, really? So you do your thing, and then you're like,
do
hey,
the 3
before
claps.
we
Still do that, right?
Yeah.
But instead of doing the bathrooms and the cell phones and all that, move that to the end of your set.
Sure, because like they're just getting into it, so it doesn't
exactly. It makes you feel a little less like a proctor or like an RA or a substitute teacher. Like, all right, everybody, before we start, we've got some rules. It kind of puts you. It kind of gives you a position of authority that you don't want in a certain way. You want to command the room. But you don't want to feel like the party pooper. You don't want to feel like the bummer. Here's the rules, everybody.
Yeah, you want to be fun.
Yeah, and so if you get the jokes going right away, you get to do the rules at the end. I've never had a club complain, as long as you do them before the feature comes up.
Sure.
Never had a club complain. So Gus Lynch gave me that advice because I did one. He goes, why are you doing that right now? Do it at the end. Because there's already going to be a lull, in a sense, but before the feature, right? So then you'll do like you'll finish your set and go, hey, man, table, thanks everybody, that's my time. And then you go, by the way, real quick, bathrooms here, cell phone there, birthday, blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
And then now we got your feature coming up. Smooth as silk transition.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'll give that a try this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. But hosting is its own thing. I've many times told people, I would rather have an unfunny host who's really good at hosting than a funny host who's bad at hosting.
Sure.
Now, ideally, I would like to have someone who does both, right?
Yeah, you want to have both.
But I would rather have somebody whose jokes aren't very good, as long as they're not like the worst. But if they do, if say everyone's name correctly, they stick to their time, they say the feature's name right, and they're just running everything right. Like, yeah, that's as important as anything.
That makes sense. Yeah, you want like they're starting off the show. You want the show to start well.
Yeah, just having everything kind of feeling professional, because even if the host doesn't get huge laughs, if the show's set up well, then the feature will get them. And the feature will be fine. But I've had MCs who are like good joke writers and have some good jokes, but it's kind of a mess, and then it starts everything off a little too not even loosey goosey, more just like there's no form to it, and also that weird like awkwardness of like, they don't say the name right, or they don't get the intros right.
Yeah, that's always awkward when you mispronounce someone's name as you're bringing them up.
Yeah, one thing I used to do, I would always write whoever I was introducing. I would write their name on the my thumb here, like the webbing of my thumb. Sure. Just so if I ever forgot it, it would be in front of me. And I did it every time I emceed, pretty much. Yeah. so hundreds and hundreds of times, twice I looked at my hand and I was so glad to have, just be like, Ryan Stout. Yes, it's Ryan Stout or whatever. Because every now and then you'll just get that. I mean, it happens. It's just like your brain goes out on you a little bit.
Yeah, I forgot a headliner's name. I'm still new into comedy, so one time I forgot it because I was just having a rough night. I fell off the stage during my set.
You fell off the stage?
Yeah, it was.
Whoa!
It was at the start, so it was a. they had a good time after. It's like, what loosens someone up more than just see someone like unintentionally fall? Like,
yeah, how tall was the stage?
Maybe a little bit lower than this, so it wasn't bad, but yeah, it was like I was running the room. They didn't have like a back booth or anything, so I was playing music as you could like connect it like to the bar.
Yep.
And so I go up there and I realized I started the music. And I left the music playing.
Oh, sure.
So I'm trying to do the rules. And then I just go, motherfucker. And I try and run off the stage to turn off the music. And I caught the cord and just went down.
Oh, no.
And then turned off the music, ran back up there. And then set went really well. Just because they were just loose. They were like, what just happened?
That's wild. That's hard. It can be hard to recover from, though. You must have had a good vibe about it.
Yeah, I was like, things happen. And they were like, things do happen.
That's really funny, though. That's a tough one to come back from.
Yeah, and then I kind of messed up. Like, I forgot the headliner's name for a second. But, like, afterwards, like, I had a lady come up to me and she's like, good set. Maybe you leave the hosting to someone else. And I was like,
oh!
I was like, that's a mixed compliment right there.
That is a backhanded compliment for sure. Wow, fell off the stage. That's I've seen people do it. I have not done it myself.
I don't recommend it, but it wasn't bad.
I don't recommend it. Yeah, probably not ideal. Yeah, and have you of course been watching more comedy?
Oh yeah.
How do you think I mean, I don't know, your style seems pretty consistent even from the contest though.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't necessarily like try and change it. I just write, and like if it sounds good, if it gets laughs, I don't really care like how I tell it.
Sure,
but I feel like
there is a consistency. I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm slower on stage. I'm slower, kind of deadpan, and it works for me. Like, I don't feel like I'm too fast. Like, when I started, very fast. Now that I'm getting into a little bit more, slowed down a lot.
That's definitely true. Yeah. I mean, it plays your style, too. Some people have generally slower is better. Very few times do I see a comic and think they're going too slow. Now, I do. Even my own tapes, I'll go, I'll slow down, buddy. You're talking too fast. It's like, I know there's a comic, Mitchell Potts. Have you ever seen Mitchell Potts?
I have not.
He did the 10,000 Laughs Festival this year. He is one of the slowest delivering comics I've ever seen, and I love it.
Yeah?
He takes so much, but it's built in, He'll say a line. And then he'll say the next, and it builds this really cool energy. Like, I don't know if I'd want everybody to do it, but really funny.
Just let everything kind of breathe.
Yeah, and it's written that way. It's almost like you can imagine like poetic stanza breaks. He's got these specific breaks, so it's like it's not random pauses. Yeah, but they're kind of long, but it works so well. But I think when deadpan, it's easier to go a little slower, like Stephen Wright, versus if you're maybe a Stanhope-y ranter, that often takes his own momentum.
Yeah, then you kind of speed up. Yeah, you're going. But.
Or Louis Black, back in the day when he would really get worked up.
Yep.
But your rhythm is very smooth, and yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I feel like you have a pretty distinct style just from watching you.
Thank you. I mean, that's what you got to go for, right? Or like.
Yeah, I always tell people it's a good sign. So for people who are watching here, there's the side door right around the club here. When you stand in the atrium behind that door, you can definitely hear everything going on in the club, but you can't always hear the words. Yeah. It's kind of muffled because of this big, thick wooden door. I always think it's a good sign when I can stand by the door and figure out who's on based on, like, the rhythm of the like the Charlie Brown teacher. Like, you hear some people and you're just like, oh, that's Greg Coleman. That's the sound of Greg Coleman vibrating through that door. Or that's Linda Ahrens. There's that Linda cadence, that Linda pause. So I think that's a hard thing to develop, and I think the problem, some people don't have a natural style, and you can develop it, but boy, that's hard. It's really nice if you just have a natural kind of,
Yeah, I feel like I didn't think about it that much. I was just like, well, you get the laugh, you gotta wait, or like just like it's how I talk. Like, I don't feel I talk too different, like, on stage and off stage.
No, it's really not that different, which is an asset if it can work. I think if it's that natural, then some people just don't. Some people we'll use my buddy Mitchell there as an example. He doesn't exactly. He sounds kind of like that, but he's kind of he's slowing down intentionally. He's but it's a great he's developed a really consciously great style. But it's really hard to do. If it just is your natural way of speaking, then you're never like an oops I broke character or whatever. It's like, I don't know, that's what I do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't do characters. I can't do voices. I don't. I'm like, this is all I got. Like, I gotta work with it.
You got one speed pitch, so you're just gonna keep throwing pitches at that speed. No, I think that's good, and like I said, I like it. I like a deadpan style. I think it conveys a kind of confidence. Even if you're not confident, it's like, well, he sure seems like he knows what he's doing, because you're not like, oh, you're not like panicking. You're just straight on. So, right after you won the contest, did you notice anything? Did anything change much?
I mean, start getting on here more.
Sure.
That helps. Just like, I don't know, people like knows, like, everybody's like, hey, good job, and then like you get hit up to do a couple showcases and stuff like that.
Sure. So you feel like you started getting like mics that you show up to, you're more likely to get on afterwards and stuff. Yeah, and I think that can be true even if you don't win, even if you just do well and people see it. But it certainly helps. It certainly helps to be the winner. Doesn't hurt.
Oh, absolutely. Just
did
what
you
sign up for the contest for?
Did you hear any I feel like this doesn't happen as much as it used to. But was anybody grumbly or like a little bit like catty to you about like?
I mean, not to my face, but like.
Yeah, I mean, some people used to be. Man, people used to get real catty about the Mr. Contest winner or whatever. And it's like, well, I didn't do it to spite you. I was just trying to do a good job,
Just we all signed up to win. Just one person has to do it.
Everybody signed up to win, of course. Yeah. How much time do you think you have now versus how much time did you think you had when you won the contest?
When I did the contest, I had maybe like 10, 15. I would say I have more like 20-ish. Yeah. I don't know. It's like hard to say. It's like some days you'll like do a show and you're like, that was great. I could do so much more. And others you're just like digging. You're like, oh man, like that didn't work. So it really depends. But I would say around 20.
Sure, that's good. You're getting toward feature. Yeah. Short feature set. 5 more minutes, you'll have a full feature set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that tricky where you're trying to figure out your time and it's like you go, well, if it's going well, some people count how much time they have as like if everything goes perfectly. And I got every laugh break that I think I'm going to. I can do 28 minutes and it's like, well, but what if it doesn't? Because I've been certainly, especially at some corporates, that's where they're very polite and they're listening and they're kind of sitting on their hands.
Just quiet,
and like, man, you can burn through jokes really fast that way. Even if you're going slow, it's like, well, there's no laugh break, so
no laugh break. You don't have anything to riff on. You're just doing
exactly.
it.
And you don't really realize how much between the laugh break and a little riff here and there, how much time that's kind of taken up out of your set.
Sure.
So when it's just you like saying them and then saying the next one, you're like, oh damn, we are burning through these things. And I got 40 more minutes to go.
I think I could do like 20 for like a bad show, and then
I think that's a good way. I always tell people when people ask you how much time you have, like maybe count if you bad show. Assuming it's not going to go well. So you go, you're like, I can talk for 20 minutes. I can just have and then hopefully it'll go way better than that. You know, you can always drop something here or there.
Yeah.
Have you noticed your pattern of what you're writing about is any different or?
Not really. So like basically from when I started, I was like, kind of write about yourself, write about what's going on. So like that's what I do when I sit down to write. I'm like, well, what's going on like with me, and then like kind of like you go from there.
Yeah, I would say a lot of especially there's a lot of kind of I don't know, and this has always been the case, but there's kind of some younger comics have a lot of kind of push toward edgy stuff. I think it's interesting to me about your stuff is that it's not self-consciously edgy, but you're not doing some edgy topics. Your dodgeball school shooting joke, and the Israel-Palestine joke. Like one would assume, how could that not be kind of edgy? But then you watch it and you go, well, it works so well.
Yeah, there's no information there.
There's no information there, but there is a little gunpowder in there, because it is. You see people tense up, like, where's this going to go? And when you pay it out, it's like, up. It's like the laugh that you got when you did that pizza place.
Yeah,
I got a huge laugh, and you can tell people just be like, "Where's this going?" And then just like, "Oh, we're so happy it went there."
I love the pullback because I started with like not everybody should vote, and I'm like I don't even think I should vote. I'm like
yeah. I forgot that's how you start.
Yeah,
that.
And everybody's like, "What is this?" They're like, "What are you doing?" And then I'm like I don't know what's going on in the world. Like my girlfriend was like, "It's crazy what's happening in Israel and Palestine." Just everybody gets quiet. They're like, "Where is he going?" They don't like it.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm like, I can never remember any of your friends' names.
Such a good line. It's such a good line. So yeah, do you have, and maybe, are you somebody who does like kind of goals or milestones? Or you have like goals that you're looking toward for the near future?
I would like to get to like that 25 minutes. Like I want to do like a comfortable 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I want to get like more feature spots. That's really like what I'm working towards.
I think that is kind of the next logical step, because once you can feature, I mean, obviously, of course, the goal for everybody is the headline. Everyone would like to have an hour-long set they do in a theater and they get paid tons of money for it. But the headliner there's like a lot of different. You got to be a draw a little bit. And you have to have the time. There's the whole big thing to that. But feature, it's like if you can just put together. If you're a good MC at 15, you're gonna be a really good feature at 25.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like because that extra 10 minutes is just having the material. Once you have that, you can do like most shows.
Yeah,
it's not like It's not like most clubs are gonna randomly call you and be like, "Can you headline tonight?" It's like that doesn't happen. You don't have to worry about that. But I'm sure you've had people ask you about featuring.
Yeah, I've featured a couple times.
Yeah. And so now you can probably pretty safely say, like, I think I got that.
Oh, I am working. I want to be, like, all my jokes I'm writing now are, like, 100% clean.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess that's true, though. I don't think I've ever heard you swear on stage.
I have one swear, and I don't like it, because I wrote it, like, a long time ago.
Sure.
And every time I say it, I'm like, it's the only one. And I'm like, I could just, like, get rid of that. But it's just, like, habit to say it. But, like, I don't like swears. I want to just keep it like friendly.
I think that's really smart, and I think in particular, I think there's always not only a market, but I think it's just good. I mean, but there is from a business perspective, it's a good marketing thing, which is that clean comedy always sells. I mean, like, there's always a market for that. People always want that. But some people want clean comedy for different reasons. But one thing that never for sure goes out of style is clean comedy that people don't realize is clean. Like it didn't even occur to me that until you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess all your stuff is clean. But like my favorite comics, people like Tommy Johnigan back in the day, Brian Regan was always great at that.
I'm a big Brian Regan fan.
Even I have not as much Pete Holmes anymore, but there's a lot of comics who are like, I like those comics. Ryan Hamilton, that's what I was trying to think of. You watch their whole set, and you don't think about it being clean until you're like leaving, and you're like, hey, wait a minute. It's not calling attention to itself. But a comedy like that is really inclusive without feeling, I think it can be really inclusive without being pandering.
Yeah, I mean, like, my parents, like they started, like, when I started, I couldn't get into every place. So, like, they would come with. And, like, it's weird to be, like, dirty with your parents sitting right there. And, like, I've always, like, I started watching comedy really young. So, like, I would watch, like, clean comedy with my parents. So I was like, that is what comedy is for me. So that's just kind of what I started writing.
So but did you have that thought when you very first started, or did it just kind of happen naturally?
It kind of happened naturally, and then I was like, well, I'm like pretty much clean. I was like, well, if I just go 100%, it'll just be better, I think.
I think that's smart. I mean, especially it's like if you're doing 13 and a half clean minutes in an MC set, and you're like, and I'm gonna close with the pussy joke. It's like, well, it's fine, but like, why? Like you said, like you've got all this time. Why now? And I certainly like plenty of dirty and edgy comedy.
Oh yeah, I still enjoy it. Yeah.
But it's but if somebody's mostly clean, it's like, yeah, go the rest of the way. Especially I think it can be a good challenge to be like, well, I'm not going to swear and I'm not going to talk about dicks, but like I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm not going to. It's not all just like Tinder jokes and friendly, churchy jokes.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got that school shooting joke. Which I really like, got an interesting reaction at the pizza place.
It did. Yeah.
They liked it, but they were like, ooh, like the darkness of it kind of like tweaked them a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually, I remember turning to Alex Kaczynski, who was standing next to me, and I was like, they're not allowed to get mad at that. He just got out of high school. It's like, it's not an abstract joke for you. You were just in dodgeball.
I wrote that in high school. Yeah.
That's amazing. You wrote that in high school. I think feature spot is it's a good next goal.
Yeah.
And the clean thing is interesting. I think there's not that many people doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Bargatze's influence will cause a resurgence in clean.
It might. Like, I'm a big Bargatze fan.
He's very, very funny. What's interesting to me is you never know when people are going to pop for whatever reason. He's like been that funny for quite a long time.
Yeah. It's not like he's improved a lot in the last couple of years. He's just been good.
Yeah, it's like everything fell into place because he's been really funny, a really funny clean comic for. I mean, gosh, he started around the time I did. I think.
Yeah.
And then like Joe Zimmerman and Ryan Hamilton, there's some other guys who are like, why aren't they popping? I mean, they're doing fine, but like they should also be huge because like they're also just masters of that, and it doesn't feel pandery or it doesn't feel like they're pulling punches. It just feels like they're just doing it in their own way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I'm doing a couple shows for Mary Mack coming up.
Perfect.
And like,
yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I want you to be clean. And like, she's seen me be clean. So I'm like, yeah, that's not an issue.
100%. And she's somebody else that you watch and you leave and you go, oh, I guess that was clean too. It's just, she's so singular. It's so different that you're just like, I feel like when you watch Mary Mack, you're more bowled over by how like I've never seen anyone do anything like this before.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you go, oh, I guess that gal didn't swear. Although I will say, when Mary gets a little mad, when she does swear, it's the funniest thing. God damn it, Tim! Nothing's funnier than me. Hearing her swear at Tim is just the funniest. I'll never not laugh at that.
Sure.
So the contest is coming back up here. We're getting ready to start it up. You'll be the reigning champion for a little while longer.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
Having done the contest, won it, and now been in comedy for a while. Any advice to the future contestants?
I went in with more strategy than I don't know if other comics are doing this, but I like cut down my jokes a lot. Like you only get 3 minutes, so like I rehearsed it a lot, like just at home, and I only rehearsed it like 2:05.
Oh sure. So you basically were like, if I'm doing it if I'm doing 2 minutes and 5 seconds at home, then when you put the laugh breaks in, I'm gonna be comfortable with 3.
Because like usually like you don't get a good audience like this, and they're gonna laugh more than you're expecting.
Yep.
So I was like, I just got to give it more time. So I was like, if I can rehearse, like, I wanted to get it down to 2, but I remember, like, I would practice it a lot. It always ended up at 2:05. So I was like, that's 55 seconds of laughing. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a third of the time. That's a great ratio. And when you say we're getting it down, do you mean trimming jokes, or you mean like trimming like shortening the jokes themselves?
I was shortening jokes. So I was like, I had like a longer set where I was like, I want to do this joke, I want to do this joke. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have time. So I just took like my favorite parts and then I just rewrote a little bit so that they would fit.
Basically, what you're describing is interesting. Is exactly what they used to recommend when late night sets were the big thing, right? When you wanted a Carson or a Conan, that was like, now it's everything's different. But that's how you built a great late night set, and I would argue still a great contest set and still a great 5-minute set. Which is like if you're doing 45. You can stretch your legs a little more and maybe do the little tag in the joke or maybe there's a little aside that you add in. But when you've got a tight thing, just like, I think some people think of it as like, they think of it as like, how many of my pre-existing jokes can I squeeze into 3 minutes?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, what if you retrofitted your jokes to fit better into 3 minutes?
Yeah, it's just like you got these good jokes, just take like pieces. Like, yeah.
100%. I mean, I think that's great advice. And I do some opening. I open for some people and we do big theaters, and it's interesting that like you kind of come all the way back around to like you're doing a contest set, you want to pack all those jokes in, right? I did the same thing of like, ooh, what if I did the punchline to this but not the tag so that I can get to the next thing, to the next big punchline, and so I would do that, and then of course then you feature and headline, and now I'm in a club and I'm headlining and I'm doing a little shaggier version. I think it's good to have stretch your legs a little bit in a headline set, a little bit. Concision is still good, but stretch your legs. But then you get to the theaters, and when you do a theater show, the laughs are so big, but the timing is so weird that like it feels weird to do some of the tags. So I wind up doing
like if you get you can't you like it's like you're calling back, but you're doing it right away or something.
It's like you imagine like because a lot of tags that you write, right? It's like you say a thing, laugh, and then you kind of turn, you go anyway, like you kind of throw a like tag away or a little thing like that. But when you do it in a big theater, you can't really throw anything away like that because it just doesn't work. You have to be you're projecting, but then also the laugh. If it's a good punchline, it'll hit and it'll be so long that it feels weird to like add one more sentence. It's like, wait, weren't you done?
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a whole other thing to say, like just drop that tag. And so it's like doing that, building a contest set in that way, except for the timing is like almost the opposite, where you're like, I'm not. It's not that I'm worried about the clock ticking. It's more about like the rhythm of the show.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
but it's really similar in terms of just being like I remember sitting down and I did one theater set and a couple of the good tags just got lost and it threw out the rhythm, and I just remember being like, remember what it was like when you were making your contest sets, and I kind of went back to that, and I think that's always a good skill to have. Some people don't, or maybe they didn't even know they could have that skill.
Yeah, to like cut down. It's kind of weird when you're like, this joke is good, but you're like, I only can do this part of it.
Yeah, and be like, and I think people get like, I'm so used to saying this 45-second version of it. And you go, well, that's fine, but can you say it in 30 seconds instead of 45? And a lot of times you go, you know what? Turns out, totally makes sense in 30 seconds.
That's why I had to practice it. Like just like the 2 minutes, I was like, I'm used to saying it longer than this, so I was like, I have to like rehearse saying it differently now.
That makes total sense because your set was really, really condensed in the best possible way, which I think is, especially in the finals. You know, it's always going to be at least 2 or 3, if not all 4, really funny people against you. And so, like, you either better have a completely different stage persona that's like completely like, holy smokes, I've never seen this before, or you better be dense with your jokes because everyone in the finals,
everybody's funny. Yeah,
everybody got good laughs. Nobody didn't.
Yeah, everybody did well.
Full laughs. So the only way to compete in 3 minutes is to be like, okay, what if I cut all the fat that there is to cut, and it's just nothing but just punch.
And then I think just like my timing helped, like just like how I time normally. It's just like you hit your laugh and you just gotta let it breathe.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, they're like 3 minutes. You got rushed through it, gets the next joke. I'm like, that's why I wrote 2 minutes. I was like, you gotta give it a second.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it doesn't look like you're trying to cram it all in.
Yeah.
See, and also I think your natural style of being kind of deadpan makes you look more confident. But then I don't think it's like, you don't seem like an anxious person.
I wouldn't say so.
I don't think you are. I mean,
No.
I don't mean to tell you what, but like your vibe is just, especially everybody's anxious these days. I think in a way it really sets you apart. You just never seem, you just don't really seem anxious about anything.
No, not really. Like, I don't know. I try to just be like chill, like go with the flow type of guy. I had one panic attack once. I didn't know what it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, you get the shakes, you're all nervous and stuff like that. You're doing like the breathing.
Yeah.
And then like it went away. I told my roommate, I was like, I just had this weird thing. I like described it to him. He's like, I think that's a panic attack. I was like, huh, that's
It's almost
fun.
like a 12-year-old having a wet dream and not knowing like, this weird thing happened to my body.
Yeah.
And your roommate's like, yeah, boss, panic attack.
But,
most people are having them all the time.
Yeah. Aside from that, I was like, I'm good. I'm not an anxious person. I try not to worry. Just things will work out.
Nice. I think that's a good attitude. It's good for confidence on stage because, like, I think especially almost you looked really calm on stage, and I mean I know in my final set I did not look calm. I looked like a guy who was really trying to get through this 3 minutes as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to have. Well, any other advice before we go for any of the future contestants of America?
I mean, just have fun with it. Like, it's just comedy's fun. Just enjoy it.
You're gonna come out and watch the finals, you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's
gotta
fun to see who.
Especially having been through it, you'd be like, oh, let's see,
Yeah, this next year I just get to enjoy it. I don't have to be nervous. I'm like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, Aidan. Thanks for coming out.
And thanks for having me.
Absolutely, we'll be seeing you around all the various comedy scenes.
Absolutely.